Good Monday. Yeah, I just realized I never did a recording last week, I don't think. Um, yeah. Oh well. Everybody had a vacation from me. So um anyway, it's hot. It's June. Yeah, summer in Georgia. Um hope your AC works. So anyway, yeah, just driving in and looking. It looks like it might storm, not here, but around it. This makes it more humid and hotter. Um, anyway, what to talk about today? Let's see. We had what do we have coming up? I have no idea. I didn't look at the calendar. Um, Southern Fried Gaming Expo's fast approaching. Um, I know. Once again, I can't think. I don't know. I need to look at the calendar. I need to once again, as I always say, update my calendar. So, but yeah, it's kind of after school's out, everybody thinks, oh, you guys are gonna be busy and stuff. We actually slow down quite a bit. Everybody's trying to get their family stuff in. People traveling. Saturdays have been knocking out of the park, but ever all the other days are really hit and miss. Actually, kind of busy yesterday afternoon, but it's really hit and miss. So not a bunch of new releases. There was nothing from Games Workshop this past week. Fourth edition, it looks like in July, 1st August, still nothing, no official news or anything. Totally my guess. But anyway, while I was walking today, what I was going to talk about, um, just a different genre of games in general. What kind of got me going on this is got an old hex encounter, not an old, it's a new hex encounter game, but kind of old school. That's where I started gaming back in the day. Basically, what that means, you have a map of some type with hexes on it, and you have cardboard chits that are your counters to represent different stuff. Usually historical games. Um, not all. I mean, there's some modern stuff. There's a little of everything in the hex and counter genre. But anyway, they tend to be more on the crunchy side, medium complexity. A lot of I'll say a lot, not a lot of rules, but they can be kind of some very unique rules for certain stuff. But anyway, I got that. I'm supposed to hopefully play with Pat sometime, but I'm doing a kind of a little learn to play myself, watching some videos. But that kind of got me thinking. You have historical games, you have uh, um, sci-fi, you have fantasy, and you kind of have this group of games that really doesn't fall into any of those. Usually, once again, more board games, more abstract stuff. Um, but it's interesting that um, different groups, different types of people kind of gravitate to different games. Um, I play a little of everything. Um, I do like my big stompy robots. Not uh, played have played some BattleTech. Not I would say I'd say it's probably right in the medium average game for me. I generally like more quicker games, more of an outcome. But then, yeah, I say that I got this, this hex encounter game that, um, it's going to be slower play, but I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, but then you got I do like my fantasy games. Not a huge fan of Age of Sigmar, but I like the background. I like the figures. Just, once again, that's more of a game mechanic issue. We do have fantasy game coming up, Warcrow by Corvus Belli. I'm very interested in that. Watching playthroughs and stuff. That looks very, very interesting. I'm liking the mechanics. I like what they're doing with it. So we'll see there. Um, but back, I guess, kind of back to the hex. I know I'm kind of all over the place today. The hex and counter. Um, when you're talking about historical games, you kind of know what happened. We were talking, I guess it was with Pat. A lot of the current, and I'll just say GW, kind of lumping all the more played modern games, if you will. Um, they definitely are more competitive. Balance forces. You got 1,000 points. I got 1,000 points. We have same objectives, same chance of meeting the objectives, and we play. Where a lot of, I was talking about historical games, one reason I like them because they are usually asymmetrical. If you're talking about a historical war game, um, usually people chose to fight when they wanted to, not, oh, okay, we're all equal, we're all the same, let's fight. Usually one side thought they had advantage somehow, um, and that's the reason they fought. So, historical games, I like that fact. Um, Now you get in interesting, and not this hex encounter, but just all historical games. You get the guys, well, that wouldn't have happened, that didn't happen, and all this stuff. Then why are you playing the game? One reason I like to play historical games. It does always makes me get back into the history of whatever uh, the period is, and usually do some reading about it. Um, so it does make me get back in the books, if you will. But yeah, I like that, the asymmetrical, and that would kind of follow through with all my games. Mentioned it the other day. Uh, they were playing Steven and I think Joe had played He Man. Definitely a fantasy game, and they said it was they won, but it's very hard. I thought, oh, that's good. I don't like games that you just kind of set up. You're going to win. It's just how much. Um, so, and same thing with board games. I know we've been playing a lot of Heat, looking at some of the games across the room. Um, you we had several games where AI was winning. Um, I think that's a good game. You're not guaranteed to even beat the AI. Little luck. In that game, you definitely got to push your luck at the right time. And if you fail, yeah, you're going to fail and probably not win. If you push at the right time and do well, you got a good chance of winning. Um, I like that in games. I like games I can lose if I make a mistake or whatever, and not just based on luck. Hey, I rolled a one, I lost. But hey, I made a mistake. I should have done this when I did that. I picked the wrong card. Whatever. I like that in games. So kind of back to the historical games. I like the historical games where, yeah, you're repeating something, um, but it's more, hey, what if this would happen? You go back even to ancient games. And I would say even I'd lump Western games. I really like Western games into that. Um, you know, got a set of speaking of that of a Gladiator. I like Gladiator games. I need to dig out. Got that a couple of weeks ago by Wily Games. That'd be fun to get on the table. But anyway, so and it's just interesting talking to different people what they like. Corey, he doesn't like fantasy. He's big into sci-fi. Once again, big stompy robots. That's great. I guess that's one of my problems is I do like to play a little of everything. I'm not into I'll say Euro games. There's some Euro games I really like. But going back to the very co-op, that's where I'm not a big co-op fan. There's some great co-op games out there. I like the ones with the trader. Hey, I may be the bad guy. You don't know. Um, I like co-op with trader. I do like lobotomy. That's definitely once again has no trader, but man, you have to co-op. You have to work together, and it's hard. We've definitely lost more games than we've won. Um, we played with Todd a great little game. Uh, Good dog, bad zombie. Great mechanic. Once again, more of a I'll say a math game. They also do the space cats against fascism. Uh, Rats are taking over the galaxy, and the cats are fighting them. Those two games, and I would say they're math games. But once again, you have to co-op. It is they're fun, but they're definitely when you look at them, they're definitely based on math. Um, and how do you get taking advantage of that? They're exponential. The longer it goes, the more chances are you're going to lose. But those are a couple co-op games I do like. So yeah, you know, I guess I am all over the place. Um, I, I I like games with. I just mentioned two very simple games, but once again, there's a lot more to both those games. And it goes back to the very, I say mathy, but the underlying mechanics in the card play and where you go and what you got to do, um, and even the timing of when you do that. Um, Definitely, I see where the guys that did it were very strong, probably math background. Um, Back to the Euro games. Um, I like to roll dice or have some card driven, some mechanic of some luck. That's the reason I think we games are games is that little bit of luck in there. Um, Sometimes Euro games, I don't know. Um, they can be too, especially the co-op games. I say too easy, but I like more little conflict there. That's probably the word I'm looking for. But anyway, I said anyway. But yeah, that's just a little. Once again, this Monday it was getting hot. I walk. My brain was wondering, you know, back to discussions I had with what type of games do people like? What do they play? And you got definitely different soap pipes and stuff. I mean, I mentioned, the genre, historical fantasy, sci-fi, abstract. But then you got the different. Is it a miniature game? Is it a Euro game? Is it a co-op game? Um, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So um, once again, I was trying to figure out what is my favorite mix. I don't know if I have one. A little side note. Someone is not a miniature gamer. when they look at a miniature, say, "Oh, that's a cool figurine." I think I've mentioned that before. I can spot a non miniature gamer when they call it figurine, or they call it tabletop game. And once again, it's not a knock on them. It's just once again their view. A lot of them are role players, and that's where they're coming from. And that's always interesting when you're talking to different people about what games you play, what do you like to play. Um, what is their definition of a miniature figurine? Tabletop game. Um, I was talking to a person about tabletop gaming. They said, well, they don't really tabletop. But they went over and started talking about board games. Says, do you play board games? They said, yeah, but that's not tabletop gaming. They were referring to miniature gaming as tabletop gaming. So that was, always interesting. I do like good board games. We were talking about that um, the other day with a couple of people. Good thing about board games, especially good ones that are replayable. The time to set up is usually less. You can get into play the game and clean up pretty fast. Some of these miniature games, honestly, they take a long time, especially if there is some meat to them. Crunchy BattleTech example. Good game. Is just there's a lot there and going with setup. Who you're playing, how you're playing it. I do like campaigns. That's always a big challenge in store is getting more than a couple people going in a campaign. I find the smaller you can keep a campaign, the more likely you'll be successful with it. I like escalation type campaigns. Start off small and you grow. Um, but anyway, well, that's enough. I think rambling. Definitely, this has definitely been a ramble today. But this once again, a few thoughts on different games, what I like to play. Like I said, this whole hex and counter has got me going back, thinking about some old school stuff. Um, why do I like that? Why haven't I played? Um, why is it popular? I've thoughts about that. You know, um, but anyway, I think that's enough for today. I've got to go do some work. Got a couple phone calls, emails, blah blah blah, to get done on this Monday, and yeah, I got to get some stuff done. And it is lunchtime, so grab me a snack and get some work. So until next time, have a good day.